The
Anime.
Egotists.
Should decide.
next
Naruto.
A game?
they are.
Kawaii.
Subscribe to
Jogger.
Go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We got Foster here alongside.
Williamson.
That's right. Hey, and today we are joined by the ever average, ever somewhat decent, from Spinebuster Championship Wrestling, Mr. Jogger Joe. It's Jogger Joe.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jogger Joe. How y'all doing?
And today, that was almost professional. I'm almost proud of us.
Right.
And today, we're here to talk about something that's the most important thing in the world. Speaking of professional, you guys remember that show Naruto?
No.
Is that the one about Boruto's dad?
Yeah. Yeah, but if there's one thing I always remember besides the show, not the manga as much because I didn't read it that much, it was the video games. And we've gotten some great ones. The Storm series, Clash of Ninja, whatever the other ones were.
And we've also had some not so good ones. Looking at you, whatever that last one's name was called, I think it was Shinobi Strikers.
Yeah, Shinobi Strikers. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
But over the past couple of weeks, there's been information released about how there's a new license or trademark for a Naruto game called Naruto X Boruto Shinobi Strikers.
Oh,
No,
God.
not Shinobi Strikers. Shinobi Tribe. Naruto X Boruto Shinobi Tribes. Now,
Okay.
this tells us a lot. It tells us a lot, yet it tells us nothing at the same time. Because at one hand, we get the possible name, but on the other hand, we don't know anything else. And even if we did know, there's a chance we're gamers. We would just be disappointed by it regardless, whether they deserve it or not.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
But like everything we do on this channel, so all 12 videos, maybe 15, I don't know. We want to discuss what we think it's going to be, what we want it to be, what we don't want it to be, or just probably what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to start in a different direction because people have thought of a couple of different ideas as either A, it's going to be like a fighting game of some kind. People say Fighter Z sort of game. Other people say an open world type of retelling of Naruto, while other people say it's going to be just a sequel to Shinobi Strikers. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts. Out of all of these, first, which seems the least likely?
To me, I definitely think the least likely one is that they would be doing a straight up sequel to Shinobi Strikers.
Yeah.
Like that game tanked, and I don't think they're gonna want to try and do that again. Like I heard so many professional gamers who were like, "Oh God, this game is just so disappointing. It's not what I thought it was gonna be," and so I couldn't see them doing a sequel.
I tend to agree. They're not gonna make it a direct sequel. I really don't want it to be a retelling of the story because we've already been told that story. I want something new, but
Okay, and I'm kind of going to address both points. One, I feel like it's definitely not a sequel to Shinobi Strikers, mainly because they just started releasing Season 2 of the Shinobi Strikers DLC pack, the first person being Zabuza. So I'm not really sure if they want to throw that on. It'd be kind of like airing a new episode of Naruto and then airing Shippuden at the same time, which to some extent they kind of did when Naruto was doing filler, but at the same time, it's not like those things were back-to-back related with each other. It's not like people were saying, oh, I have to get home for Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden, like that sort of thing.
That's fair.
And as for, I guess one of the things that I like a lot more about Naruto games as opposed to Dragon Ball games is Naruto games do a split of retelling the story, which is what Storm did for the most part,
Right.
and doing other games where it's just like a completely original story. Like a lot of the Clash of Ninja games towards the end of the series did, at least the ones released in America, did a lot of different types of game original stories. Uzumaki Chronicles kind of had some original stories tied in with a couple of like canon things, but I feel like if they, after years of doing Storm, the next game they do with a story mode, because Shinobi Strikers didn't do a story mode, should be kind of a tease a little bit, like have a little bit of canon moments, but ultimately an original story.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, honestly, what I'm hoping for, if they do decide to allow this game to be open world,
Oh,
I need them to include more than just the inner village. Like that wasn't open world. The inner village is not open world. If you want open world, give us the freaking uh all of the other villages that were in the Naruto universe. Let me freaking run through the forest and accidentally get jumped by ninja from other fucking villages. Like I would love to see that.
yeah, I mean, they almost started to do that with the Storm series, but there wasn't a whole lot to do when you were just running around. Like, every now and then you would see enemies or certain people you could walk up to, talk to, and then do like a mission or something like that. But it always felt kind of slow because you were just more or less jogging through the open world, as opposed to the Xbox game Rise of the Ninja or the Broken Bond. You would be able to jump through trees and obstacles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I'm actually curious about. How come whenever like they make these games like this, how come nobody's tried to team up with the same people that make GTA so that way we can get a giant freaking open world? Like, how come nobody thinks to do that?
I guess mainly it's because Bandai Namco's trying to. I'm by no means saying that they are lazy when it comes to publishing. Absolutely not. But I think it's they have a specific idea in mind and they don't want to try anything too ambitious. But at the same time, Naruto is huge. Like it's on the level of Dragon Ball, if not surpassing it. But I'd say Dragon Ball is still a little bigger. Like I feel like if you're gonna get into it, you're more likely to get into it through the show or the manga or even starting with Boruto for some reason than you are this giant video game.
if
Especially
somebody,
consider.
oh my god, I'm sorry. If somebody ever came at me and was like, "Oh yeah, I started watching Naruto because I watched Boruto first," I would probably have to just discontinue ever communicating with them ever again.
Like no. You're not a person of culture. Get out of here. Get out.
Right,
Shoot.
right.
Shoo.
Yeah.
And like that's not a dig on people who like Boruto because Boruto is a good show, but it's like you almost can't watch Boruto without having watched Naruto first.
Yeah, even though they feel like completely similar yet completely different shows at the same time.
Exactly. It's almost like saying, I guess if we were comparing Dragon Ball, it's like saying, "Oh yeah, I watched Super first, and then I went back and watched Dragon Ball canonically from the very beginning." Like, no, there's no point. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking back on it though, I did love Super.
oh man, I can't wait to see what's next if
Yeah.
there's next. But
And anyways, though, I guess I almost like in terms of we talked about how it could be people are saying like a game like Fighter Z, and if they're doing that, it's not going to be exactly like Fighter Z. It's going to be more in line with the Clash of Ninja series because Dragon Ball is a type of game where you try to blow stuff up, high paced, fast combat. Naruto's not exactly like that. It's like a different style. They're ninjas. They're supposed to be stealthy or at least a little more strategical when it comes to their fights. So I'm not sure if a fighting game right now would necessarily draw well, but Fighter Z did fantastic, so who knows?
right,
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure if it's just a base if it's a base fighter game similar to Fighter Z where it's like, you know, you can walk around in the lobby, but everything else has a set definitive path. I'd at least check it out and be interested because I'm a fan of fighter games. Like that's
Yeah.
like the main majority game that I go to whenever I try to pick up a new game. So if that's what it's going to be like, I'm definitely going to be interested. I'll definitely check it out. But like you said, I'm really interested to see where they can go from here, considering all we have in the name to go off of.
Right. What about you, Williamson?
Really, when it comes to fighting games, I'm the opposite. They're the last thing I would go to. So that's one thing I think fighting games is, especially when it's tied into a topic, that usually pushes out part of the fan base that just who don't like that.
Right. I mean, I guess my thing is if they wanted to do like because I said before, they did a lot of Clash of Ninja games, but not all of them were released in America. Yeah, like most of them were strictly in Japan. So I guess if you want a fighting game, what I'd say is it was for the GameCube and Wii. So take the games, upload them to like the virtual console, and let people buy and download them through there before rushing out a fighting game, because people could go back and play it on Switch and could potentially say, this isn't really as good as I remember, because those games were great, but they were hard as hell sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to have us move on to the next topic because I think we discussed it the last time we hung out a little bit, not much.
Yeah, and we've already said we don't really like. We're kind of in a mixed bag in terms of it being a fighting game. And we don't think from the sounds of it, none of us want it to be a Shinobi Strikers sequel, or at least we don't think it's going to be. But this open world thing, I'm gonna be 100% honest, because I feel like we kind of run into this a lot. You guys want an open world with custom characters, don't you?
Yep. But my thing is not just custom for the sake of saying like, oh yeah, we can customize the character, but they're still gonna end up in the Leaf Village. Like, no, give me 100% customizable. Like I can choose what village I'm in. I can choose what jutsus I can use. I can choose if I'm gonna be a hero or a villain. I can choose who I'm gonna learn under. I want to know all of those. I want that detailed of customization that I could mess around and pretty much be as powerful as Pain was.
Yeah, I will say with Shinobi Strikers, at least as a concept, in a sense was likable. Like you got a good amount of weapons, which is a lot better than what Xenoverse ever did, because you didn't get any weapons in there. Or you got to pick what village you came from, even though it really didn't matter for the most part. Like I had to look up a couple of weeks ago what the difference was. Of like, oh, if you're a sand ninja, your chakra recovers faster. I'm just like, that would have been great to put in the menu or something.
Right.
Make it a little more obvious. I know it's not exactly the difference between like Saiyans and Namekians or whatever, but it just, I don't know, it felt like it didn't matter, especially considering you could change your headband whenever you want. So eventually I'm just like, you know what? Screw the Leaf Village. I'm just going to wear this sound headband because I can.
Yeah, I did like the character customization, at least of designing the character in Shinobi Strikers. But I don't know. I would sacrifice a little bit of that if we got a more unique story, or even something that is new that ties into the story from Naruto, that you can affect stuff by doing side missions.
Yeah, I was about to say, anime games seem very hesitant to go towards the you choose what happens sort of way, which is weird because visual novels, not that I play those things or something, but in all seriousness, it's the like they let you do different paths, like, and your choices matter sometimes too much, but I at least like that more than just, all right, okay, you play as Naruto, you get the bells, you fight Haku, I don't know. I guess, and another thing, just, you say you want to learn different jutsu and study under people, right?
Yep.
Okay, hey, I guess my thing is, as much as I want that, I do really want that, but I want it completely different from other games, whereas it's just, okay, you level up under this person, now you get this jutsu, or you win a battle. So, like, because sometimes in Shinobi Strikers, when you won a match, you got a different jutsu that you couldn't learn from someone else, which was cool. But my problem with it is, how am I just gaining these jutsu automatically? Does somebody just come in and slap you in the face with and say, you know this now? Like, I want to be able to actually learn the different types of jutsu. Like, some should be really easy to learn and master, while others should take a really long time to finish and completely just be able to use.
Exactly. Like, hell, make it fun. Like, be like, oh, you only have this much time in like real world time to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, or you can't learn it, or like, oh, you have to complete these 12 missions before you can use the wow, I'm blanking so hard. The Rasengan
Yeah.
before you can completely use the Rasengan without having any drawbacks. Like,
Yeah, like maybe the more you use it, the better you get with it. Because it's not like Naruto would learn the Rasengan and be like, all right, I completely know how to use this. No, he got better with it every time he used it, to the point
right.
where he basically started winning everything with it and kind of getting overpowered.
Did he ever learn how to use it without having a freaking shadow clone?
I feel like in one battle with Sasuke, he was able to.
There are a few times throughout the anime where he does it. It's in like a heat of a moment kind of thing where he just does it and it happens.
It's stronger when he uses a shadow clone. Yet Sasuke couldn't even beat. Wow, that's sad.
Right.
That is sad.
I really
And
think something
so,
important though for learning jutsu would be in the character creation. You would have to select what your chakra nature is, and
okay.
that would set like if you were a fire ninja, you could learn all the fire jutsus much faster than you can learn any other style.
I really like that. And honestly, something, because I've been playing through the Ultimate Ninja games recently, and one of Jiraiya's ultimate attacks is a Rasengan, but he breathes fire onto it. I would love if you could somehow learn different natures. Maybe you could do different combination of attacks, like a flaming Rasengan or anything else.
Yeah, because I mean, technically, the Rasengan is a incomplete jutsu because it has no change in chakra nature by itself.
Yeah. Yet they were still able to just bust it out like it was nothing, like Naruto and Minato and Boruto and Kakashi that one time.
And Konohamaru.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the rarest jutsu in the world,
Yeah.
and now like everybody can do it.
Yeah,
So I know this is again back to the comparison. So with the Rasengan, basically the Kamehameha of the Naruto universe.
yep, Master Roshi, Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, Piccolo that one time.
That like 3 times.
Boo. Jeez, that's a lot of people.
I think the only person so far that fights in Dragon Ball that hasn't used the move is Vegeta.
Well, the Galacon is almost the same thing. Almost, but not completely. Getting back to it though, I would kind of like how you're like kind of one of the things I really like in the show was when you train with the different people, they'd have different ways of training you. Like some people would be more just hand to hand stuff, or focus on your chakra, or just sit back and observe something. So I'd like if it were different methods of training depending on who you decide to learn under.
Right. Like, say you trained under Kakashi. His is very intensive. I feel like his style is very intensive, but like it's real like intensive and power forward training. Like when you come out of it, you're gonna be able to do shit that takes a lot more skill than certain people.
Right.
Or like if you train under Jiraiya, he's probably gonna have something that allows you to increase your endurance.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking with like Guy, you would it would just be like endless. So like whatever the exercise is, it just goes on until you quit.
I can see that.
And you're so mad that when you quit, but you realize you've gotten like 10 times stronger, and you're like, I'll be back tomorrow.
Right. Like that would actually be the drawback. Is like is the hardest like his training the hardest difficulty there is, but you gain like 5 times the experience for each thing that you complete in the training.
Yeah. But with Kakashi's training, it's closer to the easiest, but the problem is he shows up 30 minutes late every time.
And it just involves him beating the crap out of you. So,
Well, the most important jutsu is the 1,000 years of death, so that's all I need to learn.
if it is customizable, that has to be like a finishing move.
Yeah.
You
Just, but I also, we were sort of talking about like how we wanted to train under like Kakashi, Jiraiya, that sort of thing. I'm just wondering, in terms of the timeline, because the timeline implies that Boruto would be a part of it too. Like, how would you guys go about that? Would it just be you can train under anybody, whether they're living or dead? Would you need an explanation of some kind? What would you do with that?
I feel like if they were to follow the story and follow how things are going, there would have to be some explanation for like, oh, I can train with Jiraiya, even though Jiraiya is dead and has been dead for several years now. It's like, no, when you go to the special place in the forest, you can meditate. And when you meditate, you meet Jiraiya in the spirit world and he trains you there.
Would really wish Naruto would have known that, because I mean that is another thing, like going to like certain places to train, like Mount Miyaboku, where you can learn to summon like different types of toads and that sort of thing.
That's true.
But as you're starting, you're just summoning tadpoles and stuff like that, and then when you get strong enough, you can summon 80-foot Gamabunta or whoever else was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gamabunta is the most important one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Now, as for we say we want this to be like an open world, yeah, shocker, or at least when like for example, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they've said we don't really count it as an open world game. We kind of just see it as a giant sandbox area, so I'd be fine with that too, because it seems like you can go anywhere on the planet, at least from the looks of what we've seen.
Right.
But I want to know, like, how would you guys do combat? Like, what style would you want the combat to be?
Again, I'm not big on fighting games, so having where you have to press a whole bunch of buttons to do special combos and stuff, I'm not a fan of. I almost want to lean towards Shinobi Striker and
Storm?
Xenoverse.
Oh,
style,
that works too.
where you've got your basic punch, your basic beam, and all that, and then you have your something that would happen that would like you could press a button and then do your ultimate attacks or super attacks.
Would you want it as a more fighting type of game if it's open world? Jay?
If it was open world, I couldn't see myself liking it if it was all fighting. Like I feel like there would have to be missions in there that had nothing to do with fighting, but it furthered the story, you know?
Right. It'd be
Similar
kind
to
of
like
cool. Sorry, go for it.
similar to like how GTA, you know, every mission wasn't, oh, go kill such and such, or oh, go steal this. Sometimes it was literally just, oh, go drive over here and meet such and such. Like, and then you had to do it in the most creative way possible. Or even, oh, you only have 30 seconds to make it from this place to this place. Go. You know, like that would be more appealing if
Right.
it were to be an open world game.
I guess for me it's hard to, like, I don't know. For some reason I'm not a huge fan of just talking to somebody and then it goes to like a cutscene or something like that and then you have to start fighting. I'm kind of just a fan of jumping right into it. So I guess maybe more towards the Shinobi Striker style, but a little more destructive, because some of those jutsu should be able to destroy entire forests or mountains or something like that.
That's true.
I guess another thing is with you getting back to just missions that don't include fighting, it would be nice if they include like a variety of different things. Like, oh, if you're level D, you have level D rank missions, you have to watch over something or just do or run out and get something for someone, or as opposed to A rank missions, it's you have to be stealthy and get information without getting caught.
Exactly.
That actually brings up a point I wanted to make. I
Sure.
want a game where you do progress. I want there to be a tuning exam arc in the game. So
Yes.
you start out as a Genny,
Definitely.
and then you
Oh,
actually
my-
have to do something with a team to become tuning, and then eventually you can get promoted to Jonin. I don't want you to be a Kage.
But-
Maybe make Ambu.
I'm
Oh
gonna
no!
say so.
If you got to Hokage, you would just be doing paperwork the whole time. That's the rest of the game. You just have to keep doing paperwork and sitting around until you die.
That's terrible.
I think
If we
Kage
do
can be like the final trophy you get at the end of the game. You're the best ninja in the game now, but you're not really the Hokage or the Kazekage or whatever.
Right.
if oh my god, if the tuning exams were put into the game and you had to fight through that arc, they have to include one of the fights, not even as you being Gara, but you have to face Rock Lee. You absolutely have to.
Oh god. So you want your character to die?
I don't want him to die, but I definitely want him to get smacked up by Rock Lee a little bit.
Yeah. That whole fight. What looking back on it, that was one of the best fights of the whole series. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't too much about like flashing it. It wasn't too much about like overpowered moves or anything like that. Or because a lot of people say towards the end of Naruto it was less about ninjas and more about just gods and stuff like that.
Too powerful.
That was just one of the best fights. It's just two ninjas beating the crap out of each other. It was an
And
amazing fight.
one of my favorite parts of that whole fight is you can take off the weight. Really? Really? Oh, what are some little 10-pound weights?
It's a little
gonna do?
10-pound weight's gonna. It's just, and I'm just thinking, can I change my favorite character to Lee?
Right. I remember that was the moment where I was like, why are we watching this show called Naruto? This should be about Rock fucking Lee. This shit here is great.
I remember once in the abridged series when they were trying to get Sasuke back, and Naruto's like, "Let's go," and Shikamaru's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hold on. Who's wearing the sexy tuning jacket?" And Naruto's like, is the show called Shikamaru?" And I'm like, "I'd watch a show called Shikamaru. I'd watch that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
But
you ever
just-
send me the link to that? I have not seen. I want to see that.
Yeah, but just getting back to speaking of like the different characters you can interact with and stuff. I don't know why. I don't remember Shinobi Strikers having this in the slice, but I want like stats. Like you start off and you can increase your stats further and further. Like you have attack, defense, stealth, maybe luck, depending on how well certain attacks do, that sort of thing. And maybe like if your enemies in the tuning exam see you, they can automatically adapt because like in Arkham, I want to say Arkham City when Batman fought Freeze, you would use a technique to take him down, but he would always find a way to shut it off. Like, okay, you did that once, don't expect it to work again, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do. I don't know if they could do that for every single opponent. Like, I don't want bandits adapting that well. Oh, but just like certain opponents should be smarter than others. Like
Have an elite level of NPCs that it can change to meet you at
yeah,
level.
and like
During tuning exam, go ahead and drop Orochimaru in that bit. Let one of the mini bosses be Orochimaru the first time they saw him.
oh man. Or also just fighting style in particular. Like you could choose, like hypothetically, in the tuning exams against your opponent, you could choose whether you would want to try to kill them and be disrespectful or just shame them in some way, or if you just want like a regular competitive fight.
Yeah, that would actually be a really cool, and that would shape whether or not you were like, if you would later become a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah, but just like most Naruto characters, you're not stuck to that one path. Like if you start off as a rogue or bad ninja, but you see the interactions you're having with the other characters, you're like, you know what? These people are my friends. I want to protect them. You can shift over to being a good guy or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So Because, I mean, if you think about it, how many... That's one of the big things about Naruto is that like half the villains in the show became friends at some point.
Yeah. Also, I would kind of like how just if you start off as a Genin and you're in your squad, maybe you have like some NPC characters who are game originals, or maybe they're just random characters. Like you could listen to their problem and you could build different types of combo jutsu with them.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Something like if kind of how they always mention the Shadow Shuriken from the pretty much the first arc.
Yeah. Or maybe like one of your characters is really good with weapons and throws a bunch of shuriken, and you can light them on fire, so your enemies are just getting pelted with kunai that are set on fire or something like that.
That would be fantastic.
It would also be terrifying, but yeah.
Okay, so
Also, sorry, go ahead.
something I wanted to ask, and I guess this might move us to a different subject.
Sure.
If we're talking to this hypothetical game, I guess were to be similar to Xenoverse in the sense that you're playing a created, customized character, and you could have support characters, would they be main story people, or would they be people that would be coming from just specific arcs? So, like, you wouldn't get like Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, none of them, but you would get some of the like Konohamaru, um, fuck, Neji. Like you would get
Right.
people like that who were well known in the show, but weren't necessarily like main group of people.
Yeah, well, it would be nice to, because obviously you shouldn't be able to train under Naruto immediately and get super overpowered or something like that. I think it could kind of be one of those things where as the story progresses, you unlock certain other people, well, as masters or sensei, or maybe just if you do well enough under one person, then maybe somebody else will notice and be like, "Oh, I'll take you under my wing," or you could do poorly enough and someone would be like, "Oh, you're terrible. You need somebody like me to help you."
Right. I
In
can
the
see that
actual
being Neji. Sorry.
in the actual combat though, as like a support character,
Right.
I would want it to be probably three. At least it's at the start. It should be unique sensei, and then two unique other genin. So that way you've got your team of three that's unique to you. But then as you go through the story, maybe you meet Jiraiya during a battle or something, and he partners with
Right.
you. And then you meet Naruto later on and something, and
Right.
they're not a permanent part of your team. Kind of like when you played certain levels in Xenoverse, where characters would jump in to help you.
Yeah, but the problem with that is they would either rush in and take all your combos or do absolutely nothing to help you. So I
Yep.
kind of like how you could tell one person, "Hey, you back me up. You stay behind in case we need healing or something like that." Obvious. Well, okay, Sakura, you stay back there. Not for healing. I just don't want you in this battle. Stay.
I'm so glad you said it because I was gonna say it if you didn't.
Also, but I get the feeling as again, there should be like maybe certain restrictions. Like somebody could say, "Oh, well, you're getting of a pretty low level, so I'm not going to teach you this move yet." Because it's not like the second they met, Kakashi said to Sasuke, "All right, I'm going to teach you the Chidori." It was they'd gone on several missions beforehand and just said, "Okay, you're going to need this for the Chunin exam. Don't overuse it." Got it?
Yeah, because when you think about it, in the tuning exam was actually technically almost a year after they had become Team 7.
Yeah.
They kind of mentioned that then, and there's it's been a while.
Yeah, especially considering the tuning exam are twice a year.
Oh yeah, don't overuse it. Proceeds to use it in almost every single fight for the next 3 years.
About 8 or 9 times.
Exactly.
And then Itachi's like, "You like your hand? Yeah? Do you like it broken? No? Too bad." I just watched that episode today and I'm thinking, man, Kid Sasuke kind of sucked.
Yes, he does.
Like, people say, oh, he was the best. I'm like, no, Gara would have killed him. Gara would have killed him and laughed the whole time.
Yeah. Had things not progressed the way they did in the fight, Gara definitely would have killed him.
Yeah. And that would be another thing if you could have the effects similar to Naruto. Like, if you could convince people to turn one way or the other. Like, if somebody's like, well, why are you doing this? It's just like, oh, I just want to kill you. Then nothing changes. But if you say, oh, I'm protecting these people that you and everyone else are trying to destroy, maybe they start to think, huh, I'm going to do a face turn now. I'm a good guy.
Right.
Now, I guess if we're talking create characters, we have to address the elephants in the room. The Sharingan, the Byakugan, the Rinnegan. I feel like Mangekyo Sharingan should just not be in the game, period, because that's some overpowered trash.
Now it should only be unlockable if you can get the eyes from other characters in the game that use it.
So you just start plucking people's eyes out. Still a good guy, still a good guy, still a good guy.
I would say make it part of like the bad guy side. So like if you choose to do something like that, you may be part of like the foundation before you leave your village, and you get to steal the eyes that way.
Right.
Like, oh, the other person uses the shotgun gun. I'm gonna take his eye. Thank you.
I spy something that rhymes with I, and it's your eye. Wait, you can't rhyme I with.
I can.
And you pull out Kakashi's eye. He's like, that's the wrong eye. Oh, my bad.
Here you go.
Better.
You can have that back.
No, as for, like, I don't know, because remember the rule of the Mangekyo Sharingan, your best friend or something has to die. I'm like, so does your best friend in game have to die for that?
That would be really bad. No.
Yeah, like on the one hand, it'd be cool in the sense of, oh, it's realistic and sticking to the lore, but on the other hand, I'm just like, I feel like I'm strong enough without it.
If this would be a lowland Pokemon universe, I'd be okay with letting Hao get killed.
Really? Why did I get the feeling you were going to bring up Hao into this video?
Because I can't stand him.
Really? What was it? Really? What was the? So you're telling me if you got like a hyperactive, happy to be alive ninja on your squad, you wouldn't appreciate it?
I would purposefully send him first in the hopes that whoever we're fighting is strong enough to one-shot him.
It's Sakura. Sakura's the one you're trying to fight.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, the thing is, you just described especially really early Naruto.
Yeah. Naruto. Really early. Kind of look back, I'm like, really early Naruto was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, there's this episode where they all get to the tuning exam, and it would show one of the characters he went to class with, like Shino, Kiba, and everybody else, and it would, like, freeze the screen and be like, oh, this is Shino Aburame. He's just weird. But I don't know why he's acting the way he does. I'm like, Naruto, you're no catch yourself, mister. Leave him alone. I don't know. Maybe I just liked Shino back then.
But I think it would be cool to. I'm trying to remember. Like maybe one of the missions though in this game would affect things throughout the story. So like you could be the ninja who's sent to get one of the Kages to come to the 5 Kage summit before the war.
Right.
And part of it is you have to convince them, and it's just a speech check that you have to keep going through until you actually get it.
Your hair looks super shiny, Mr. Kazakage. Okay, I'll go to the meeting. Well, that was easy.
Right. I feel like if they were gonna do that, partly it would have to go along the lines of like, oh, this child just got the spirit of insert tailed beast here, and now he has to live his life kind of like Naruto did.
It would be kind of cool if one of your squad mates was like a Jinchuriki, like they held one of like a tailed beast, like, or at least maybe I don't know, maybe they could do like a storyline where part of the tailed beast's energy gets sapped or something like that, and one of your teammates or even you somehow end up with it.
That'd be awesome.
Because because I'm gonna be honest, being a Jinchuriki, with the exception of all the trauma and the horrible stuff, sounds awesome. But I feel like if you got that power really early in the game, it would be incredibly overpowered, and you'd just be destroying villages at that point.
Nah. Then they could put the drawback on that if you use it before your level, let's say before your level 20, it's every time you use it before then it saps half of your health whenever you use it in a fight.
Yeah. It'll also be kind of cool if that affected your mentality during the story. Like if you kept doing it over and over again, you slowly start drifting towards madness or something like that. Or if you only used it in like life or death battles, your Jinchuriki's like, well, if he dies, so do I. So there you go.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how Jinchuriki would work in that, but I feel like if it's done right, it could really help push people towards the game.
I think that they would have to do it more like in a big battle situation, someone who has control, like how Naruto did at the end, runs around and just gives you the chakra for a while.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool if they created like mini form, not necessarily smaller forms of Jinchuriki, but just other powerful beast-like creatures. Because I remember Kisame always was called the tailless tailed beast, and he had that transformation. So maybe if you found like a creature of some kind and you could seal it or something like that, you could have your own sort of transformation, different fighting style. Because it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense if every character had the power of the nine-tailed fox. That wouldn't really float well with anyone.
Yeah, that actually could be an interesting, as like the story is someone like Orochimaru has started fusing people with powerful monsters to make new Jinchuriki, and that's the story. Is you're trying to stop him because they pretty much go insane, and you end up as one at some point.
Right, and maybe at some point he ends up hitting you with it, and you just sort of have to cope with it like halfway through the story. It'd be kind of cool if, depending on your personality, your Jinchuriki, your tail beast was just completely different. Like, if you were loud and rambunctious, it was just cold, calculating, and sinister. Meanwhile, if you were more on the serious side, it was just sort of wacky and over the top. Like, instead of a rapping killer bee, give me a rapping tailed beast. Give me that.
Yo, man, I'm moving to the beat and we about to beat with Dr. Chakra.
I'm not borrowing your chakra, dude. Just let me.
If you don't take mine, you're going to die. And I don't feel like part of nobody now.
Oh, okay, fine. Uh, I do think another like sort of restriction you should have, like the lower level you are, is like if you're a Genin or a Chunin, it should be you're more restricted to the village. Like you'll get random and requests and callbacks to, okay, you need to come back to the village. You have a new mission or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas once you get up to like a Jonin or even what they call special Jonin, you can kind of do missions with the exception of really big ones, kind of at your leisure.
Honestly, though, I would love to play through this story just to be able to get to be an Anbu Black Ops.
I was gonna say that.
Only if I had a chance to be one. And then I could also choose to leave the Anbu Black Ops if I ever wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the third Hokage said to Kakashi, you're out of the Anbu Black Ops. Anbu Black Ops are kind of supposed to be cold-hearted and scary. You're getting nicer after Obito died, so you're a Jonin now. Okay.
He was really young when he became a Jonin, because I rewatched part of that backstory, and he looks like he's a Genin at that point.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess just getting back to it, I'm not really Like, it would kind of be nice if you got your own sort of trainer and you did sort of what Naruto did. You went away for a good amount of while and you trained and came up with your own sort of combos and sort of thing. And then if you come back relatively quickly, the village isn't really affected all that much. But if you come back and it's been a while, like maybe even a few months in game somehow, I don't know how they do that. It could be like, oh, dude, this happened in the village. Like,
Half day in real life is a real day in the game.
oh,
I would
dear
love it.
God.
Every half day on like actual reality is a full day in the game.
Yeah, and
That would
maybe
be great.
like depending on certain masters, you could up certain stats. Like Shikamaru would be intelligence, but your endurance wouldn't be good because his endurance was never that great.
It really wasn't.
And Choji, maybe your defense could get a lot better or that sort of thing.
But your health as a whole was kind of low.
Yeah,
Damn, that was always so crazy. They're like, damn.
yeah, I do think now 8 gates. How would you work? How would you work the 8 gates into the game?
So like the ending.
Hmm?
So like the ending.
Well, just the 8 gates in general, just how it affects your character and everything. Not all the, maybe not necessarily all the 8 gates, just each one of them.
Honestly, I would not. Depending on like how long you train, because I wouldn't allow anybody to train or anybody to have it if they didn't train under Guy.
Yeah,
But it's like even yet and still, you're never able to learn all 8 until you have completely like you would have to pretty much max out everything that you possibly could
yeah.
in
Even
order to get the all 8 gates because of how much of a drawback it is.
it's ridiculously overpowered. Is the thing too. So you shouldn't be able to open all 8 gates as like a genin who's just starting.
Yeah, no, but if you worked it in, I would almost want I hate to say it, but a bad ending where your character dies because you pretty much do Guy, but there's not someone there to save you. So
I
you,
I feel like at some point Naruto would run and be like, "Oh, you're fine. Your legs just don't work." I'm like, I'd rather just die. Like reanimate me. Like just do something.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be okay with that. Just like, bro, let me die and then just reanimate me, please. That would be better.
Yeah, like that Dragon Ball game, those anime egotist guys he's talked about? No. What's Dragon Ball? Forget, never mind. Just get those and just bring me back. You're confusing me, I know. Just shoo. Go.
Just like here, take this. What is this? It'll help you find the things you need to wish me back to life. You're awfully chatty for somebody who's dying. Yeah, and you're awfully stupid for somebody who's allowing you to die.
And you're awfully orange for somebody who's supposed to be a ninja too.
It's so true.
I feel like if you wear bright colors, the enemy ninja should be like, what's with the dude? You're what's with the bright colors? You're supposed to be like
I
stealthy.
feel like if they actually gave you the option to have bright colors, there has to be at least one fight you come across where you're supposed, or one mission that you come across. You're supposed to be stealthy, and the guy's like, "Dude, you're wearing hot pink. I can obviously see you over there."
It's
Like,
it's breast cancer. It's breast cancer awareness month. Yeah, but you're still obvious to see. So
that
Right.
would be interesting though. Like you start a mission and it's all about stealth, and then like as soon as you step foot into whatever the mission area is, you automatically get killed, and then now it's like we could see, and then you hear the conversation afterwards as you're dying.
Just like, what a dumbass, man. How did he show up to a mission in bright neon orange?
in the hot pink tank top up in jean shorts. What the hell? Oh man, this is ridiculous.
Shit.
I would like just I don't know. I feel like there should be plenty of just as much stuff outside the village as there is inside the village. Like, give me an incentive to stick around. Like,
Right.
maybe if I help out by the weapons shop or something, I get a discount for more powerful weapons or something like that.
Well, I was thinking,
Learn to make your own weapons.
That too.
But I was thinking similar to right after the village is destroyed in the pain arc in
Right.
Naruto Shippuden, like all these allies from earlier in the show up just to rebuild the village. It's like, so maybe there's some sort of event where you have where you get to see people who you helped earlier if you helped them. Otherwise, it becomes harder because you didn't have them.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you helped us, so we're going to do everything we can to help you. Yeah, which seemed kind of weird that they forgave the Sand Village as fast as they did. It's just like, yeah, the Sand Village, they don't have a lot of forces left, so they've surrendered. I'm like, they killed so many people.
Right. It's just like that they're responsible for the death of so many. Are we
Like,
really gonna forgive them because their forces are low?
I mean, Gara, Gara was hard to forgive because at one point I'm like, I really feel bad for you, but on the other hand, I'm like, you messed up Lee.
Right.
Even though later on Lee's like, thank you, it made me stronger. I'm just like, oh Lee, you're so nice, but oh my god.
Your stupidity almost overshadows Naruto sometimes.
Yeah, but then obviously now everybody loves Gara except for his barber, but
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Why would you do that?
his
Oh
hair
my
is so trash.
Why would you do that though?
And that's how the game works. The more and more you start off with all the cool hairstyles, but as the game progresses, you unlock more and more terrible hairstyles.
Only if at some point you can get Goku's hairstyle and the barber's like, I don't know what you want me to do with this, or I don't know where this awful idea came from.
Make it
But
yellow.
yeah.
I can't do that.
Uh,
Oh man. I guess how would you guys want summoning? Getting back to it before we start trashing other stuff. How would you guys want summonings to work?
Hmm.
Because in Shinobi Strikers, you would summon something, but it would stay where you summoned it, and it would do whatever it was supposed to do. Like one of the first things I unlocked was the salamander. It would poison people, but then eventually it would just go away.
I think that I would want it to be, I mean, very similar to the anime where you can decide that you want an animal, so you sign its contract, and then you can only summon like a weak form at first, and then but you can
Right.
slowly build up to the point where you can summon massive. So if you sign with the snakes, you get like these little tiny snakes. But eventually, you can summon whatever the ones that like Orochimaru and Sasuke can summon.
Right. And it would be
I
kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
I think though for like especially like a mid battle type situation, it would almost be like a button prompt type deal in order to summon. So like, oh, you have to hit like the whatever buttons in the right combination, and if you mess up, then you summon like the little one on accident, or like
Right.
if you don't press it fast enough, like you summon one that could do damage, but it's confused, so it attacks you.
Yeah. I think it would be kind of cool if, like, say hypothetically, you somehow, like, the very first time you summon something, just hypothetically, you got it perfect and you summon, like, the giant snake. But when it sees you, it's kind of just like, I don't respect you. Ooh, I'm not doing this. And then maybe the first time you have to fight it or convince it somehow, and then they'll be like, I'll listen to you more, but I'm not going to be completely on your side. And as it builds up over time, like maybe it has like a health bar or something, and the more battles you do with its health being high, the more it comes to respect you over time.
That'd be interesting. Something though I think would be really funny if they implemented it would be like, say you're from a different village, so you're from the sand and you're fighting Jiraiya, and you
Right.
summon a toad, and then it doesn't attack Jiraiya, it just has a conversation with him and then goes away.
Just like, I'm not fighting you, okay? Disappears. I'm just like, I do wonder though, like I can't, because I don't remember too many people who have the ability to summon like toads, snakes, slugs everything. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like you can only sign a contract with one thing. And maybe you could teach, and maybe you could tell your teammates about it, and they could sign contracts with other things or something like that.
Yeah.
The only one I remember summoning something different was Sasuke, because he could summon the snakes and an eagle of some kind.
Oh, that's right. I feel like that eagle wasn't used as often as people think it was.
So I think it's possible, but maybe you sign one that's your main one for combat, and you can get something for more like transport.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be able to just do Toad, Slug, Salamander, John Travolta. Like there should be some limit to it. Like you can only summon like one giant one, and like one for combat, and the other can be used for something else. Like maybe one can like here's one. Like maybe the Slug can burn the trees with acid, and the trees could fall over and land on enemies, so you don't have to fight them directly. Like different ways of fighting people instead of head-to-head, like straight-ahead combat. That's something that this game would really have to focus on, because it's ninjas. They're supposed to be stealthy, at least to some degree, even though it never seems to end in a stealthy way.
That's true. Oh, ain't that true?
Yeah.
All right. Question for the table. How would you approach the chakra system in terms of like in the fight? Because like in all of these different fights, if they run out of chakra, they're like, oh shit, I'm out of chakra. I can't keep fighting. With jutsu, I have to change up my abilities or change up my style. What can I do? How would you guys approach that?
I guess for me personally, I feel like when you're like no matter what the mode is, you should have a specific amount of chakra you can use, like maybe until you are able to like eat something or take something in order to do it. Like hypothetically, let's say I have no items I can use during battle. Maybe something outside, but nothing while the battle's happening. Maybe I could build up my chakra so it's completely full, but as I keep doing that, I'm able to do it less and less until I can only fill it up halfway and use certain techniques. Because you shouldn't be able to just recover your chakra just by doing this the whole time, because that just doesn't seem fair.
Right.
Yeah, I think, and then I remember some games have it where taijutsu requires chakra, and it's like really doesn't make sense, because that's a big thing with Lee, is that he can do all these moves and he has no control over his chakra.
Or at least he uses very, very little of it.
Right.
So I think taijutsu shouldn't have any effect, so that way it's only your bigger nin and genjutsus.
Right. And like if you spent like your chakra's gone from a mission, but you just got back to the village, once you sleep it off for do something, and then you gain all your chakra back. I also would just like, because we see a lot of people training by themselves, I would like just a way of you could just train out in the forest by yourself, or you could clone yourself and fight your clones. It's like the more clones you summon, the harder it is, but the more experience you can get.
That'd be cool.
Now, how would you guys go about the route of ultimate jutsu? Would you just make it bigger and cause more chakra to be used, or because a lot of the games, at least a lot of the older games, ultimate jutsu don't really feel all that special. Also, and I'm wondering, in an open world setting, how would it work?
I think it would depend on, well, first what the jutsu is and how much you can do of it. Because what are we considering an ultimate jutsu? If you got the Rasengan as a mid-level genin,
Like I don't consider the Rasengan necessarily an ultimate. Like maybe you learn the Rasen Shuriken. Maybe that's what's considered a more powerful ultimate jutsu.
Okay.
Or
See,
if you got to that point, I guess the tailed beast bomb.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
so something with like massive destructive power just in like one attack.
Yeah.
Or whatever
And
that move was that Pain used, the freaking
Almighty Push. Or
not even that
Planetary
one that he used
Devastation.
to create the moon that trapped Naruto.
Yeah, Planetary Devastation? Was that what it
Yeah,
was?
that one.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I feel like some jutsu should affect a lot of people, while some should only affect like a couple. Like I feel like if you are in the Uchiha and you have the Tsukiyomi, it should really only affect a couple of people before they start to realize, maybe we all shouldn't be looking at him directly.
Yeah. Let's see. With Ultimate though, I really think that it's kind of like an all or nothing. So maybe I guess it would have to be something that's triggered randomly in battle,
Right.
at certain points. Like it's your last chance to win the battle.
Like maybe once your health gets super low, that's the only time you can use it.
Right. So like I guess say your health hits 10% of whatever the maximum is, and then you
Right.
can use whatever your ultimate jutsu is, or even if it's a transformation to a different form that drastically increases your attack and chakra limit, then there it is. But let's say you can only use it for 25 seconds.
Yeah. Mine would be a flaming lightning Rasen Shuriken.
But something that we would when you start out, your ultimate attack would be like multi shadow clone jutsu. That would be
Right.
ultimate. So you just summon a whole bunch of more people to fight with you at that
Right.
point.
And maybe once they do a certain amount of hits, they do like a random combine attack. Like maybe the majority of their attacks are like melee, but like if they do enough attacks, they all just throw. It shows the scene where they're all just throwing a bunch of shuriken or something like that, and
Yeah.
maybe you come in for the final blow.
But I'm just thinking like your ultimate could be. I mean, you would assign it, but you would. It would be based on what you've learned, what you can do already. So maybe later on it might be Chidori or
Right.
something along that.
Now, as for what would you guys want? Like, if we were to, like, let's say, okay, we're going to listen to you morons. We're going to make this game just about the way you want. One question: what do you want us to do in terms of online capabilities? Like, what do you want to do for that?
For me, it would be same as GTA, I guess, where it's like still the open world. You could run around and like you could find people. The only caveat though is that you can't kill them in the open world. You have to challenge them to a formal battle. Whether that means you go up and prompt a, whether that means you go up and prompt a battle by just talking, or you throw a kunai at them, and then the game would make the character dodge it, but then it would be like, would you like to continue this battle or run away? And you can choose to do one of the two.
Yeah, but as you're running away, you just flip them off. You're just like, man, I don't want to fight you.
See, I think that there should be multiple different types of servers. I know they won't do this,
Right.
but so in the online mode, it's in an alternate universe pretty much. But
Right.
like there could be one where everything's at peace and you can just go on missions to help the random things, or in other servers, certain lands are at war with each other. It could be free for all, or certain lands are partnered together and then fighting each other. So that way you can only attack certain people, and the whole thing is giant ninja battles.
Oh, goodness gracious. Like actual war scenarios.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you meant no, every ninja grows to like 100 feet tall and they all have to fight each other. I'm just like, Dynamaxing has really affected you lately.
Well,
Giant
no.
ninja battles seem ridiculous.
Hey, that's Choji you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know though. Oh, I noticed that we kind of do this when we talk about games. Like we say, okay, open-ish world, created character, this, and that, and they almost never, ever, ever do it.
But this time, if we get it right, we're gonna celebrate by going to Fogos.
If only. If only. As for, because we talked about other types of characters and how you interact with them, because I remember in X-Men Destiny, which everybody seemed to hate except me for some reason, you would get a choice of 3 characters and 3 different backstories. It would be kind of nice if at the beginning it's like, okay, here's your character. Are you fine with this backstory? Yes or no? Are you fine with how this design looks? Yes or no? And you could change. Like, as for backstory, I don't know. They couldn't give you like 100 different options, maybe more like 3 or 4. But in terms of design, you can just design them however you want.
For backstories, I would think like one would be you're the child of a fugitive, you're the child of a high-ranking official, or you're just the child of someone in the village randomly.
Yeah, just some random schmo.
Or even, oh look, you're a random child of one of these. You're a random child of one of these seemingly overpowered characters that we saw in our series at one point, and your character is you're the child of pain.
Wonderful. I do think, though, in terms of learning jutsu, you should only be able to learn certain ones. Like, you shouldn't be able to learn the Aburame clan's jutsu very easily, or even at all for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, because it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you're basically stealing these families' jutsu, unless you just want to be a straight up bad guy, or you did well enough. It's like, you're basically part of the family now. I'm going to teach you this. I'm like, feels like you shouldn't be doing this. I know, but.
Well, I would almost make, because they've never officially said it, but I almost just want them to make Shadow Possession, Expansion, and Mind Swap Jutsus all Kekkei Genkai, and just that way you can't learn it.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be able to learn every single jutsu. There should just be some jutsu where it's just like, no, you're not able to learn this.
Maybe you get like one unique thing that no one else can do, and that's yours. But
it's gonna sound weird, but I remember the first Bakugan video game they ever made. You know how everybody got their own like unique Bakugan that would talk to them and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this one, not only did you get to choose what attribute you want, you got your own voice and design and everything, and they actually gave you your own game original special Bakugan that had its own backstory and everything. And I'm just like, I would love if they did more of something like that. Like, maybe you get your own type of power or your own just special companion. Like, and this is Bakugan. This was never a game. This was never a series with video games that were taken seriously, or at least seasons after season 1 that were taken too seriously, because that just got confusing.
Right.
Oh, that's right. There were more.
Yeah, that they actually did. They actually just rebooted the series.
I heard something about that, but I forgot that there was more of the original.
I hear it's great, so I might check it out. But anyways, just to sort of wrap things, like get closer to the end, out of everything we've talked about, or maybe something we haven't necessarily talked about, besides the ability to shoot out any type of ramen we want from the game, what out of everything, what would you like specifically for this game? Besides create your own character, because we've kind of already beat that into the ground. Like, let's pretend that's the one guarantee we get. Other than that, we have to choose something.
Okay.
You go first, Williamson.
Oh, Jay really seems like he wants to go first.
Go for it.
Allow me to beat up any character I want in the game. Give me that chance to run the fade with Sakura and then Konohamaru. Those are like the only two, really. Like, I don't even care about anybody. Let me run the fade with those two, and I will be just fine.
You said let you run the fade, but half of these characters would look better with a fade than with the hair they got.
Dang it. Back to the haircut.
That's the next game. It's gonna be Naruto X Boruto Shinobi Tribes. It's gonna be you're just a barber.
And 10.
You want what?
You want what? You want?
I don't know why.
And it's just you with the kunai, like, I could kill them so easily.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't let you. You just have to cut hair.
And you just grab clippers.
Oh,
What's worse is
man.
that Lee, you just put a bowl on his head and cut.
Anyways, though, so just the ability to beat up anybody you want.
Yes. I just need that. Oh my god. Especially Sakura. I just And you know what? And just because I know people would get upset and then they feeling about it, I would also beat up Hinata.
Oh, not Hinata.
Look, just because I know people would be like, "Oh, you beat up Sakura. You always say she's the worst character. You beat up somebody else." Fine, beat up Hinata, beat up Choji, beat up Neji, beat up Shikamaru. I would beat up all of them.
Oh,
Hard.
your character is gonna marry Sakura.
My character would marry Sakura just to be able to divorce her.
I don't think that will exist in the ninja world.
Well, fine, I'll go off to war and never come back.
I guess that's fine. All right, so the ability to beat anybody up, basically, just the
Yes.
freedom to do that. Good,
Yes.
bad, indifferent.
Yes.
Okay, Williamson, you're next.
If I had to pick something, I would be a unique story. I would want it kind of parallel to pretty much the entire thing, but
Right.
what you do, you're not directly involved in any of the major fights, but you do stuff that, oh, you bring the Kage to the summit, or you do something that
Burn
affects
this
the
Kage's
story.
village down.
Yeah, and like if you're part of conflict, so yeah, you're attacking someone that is going to do this that they'll do later.
Right.
I just think that would be cool, where you're just affecting stuff that happens, or you find out why things are happening.
Right, that'd be good. Okay, who's next?
You.
Right. I guess my main thing, like I've said it towards the beginning, I want to actually learn new techniques. I don't want it as a reward for doing a mission. I don't want it like as a loot box system or something like that. I want to actually take the time and learn how to use this technique like my master did, or even a different way, like maybe I do the Rasengan with one hand, but I'm able to charge it faster than anybody else. Or I'm able to hold it longer and I can throw it underground or something like that. Just let me actually train and find different ways of using these moves rather than just be like, oh, you did this mission, like in Dragon Ball Z Universe. Oh, you did this mission. Here's this technique. Whereas most of the time, it wouldn't actually give you the technique, and you just have to do the mission over and over and over and over again until you finally gave up. Like, let me actually feel like I'm getting better with these jutsu rather than just randomly getting them or not getting them.
So like for the Rasengan, you would start out like you get a water balloon, and you would just
Right.
in between missions you'd be walking around trying to pop it, and then
Yeah, something like that. Maybe they don't all have to be exactly like the anime, but that's a good start for the foundation of it. Now, I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's a very good chance that this might just be this could just be a retelling of the story. No custom characters, not necessarily an RPG, kind of like we've been discussing. But if it hypothetically, if it was to just be a regular old retelling, plays Naruto, plays all the other characters, but not a custom one, is there anything that you would say, please do this to make the game interesting, or please don't do this to make the game interesting, while still retaining those roots?
Don't force us. If you do have multiple characters in the game that you can play from their perspective in the story, don't make it a forcible thing that you have to do in order to unlock whatever. Make it be like, oh yeah, you could play the big battle in the tuning exams as Neji, or you could play it as Choji, but it's not a mandatory thing because the main story you're following is Naruto. You know,
Right, right.
or even
I get
God
it.
forbid,
I
you
can
could
I
play.
can co-sign.
So what?
Come again?
I was gonna say, and even or, God forbid, you could play as Sakura, even though I could never see why anybody would want to. You can play her parts in the story.
Girl,
All three of them.
girl power, dude. There's girl power. You gotta respect women.
I respect them. I just can't stand Sakura.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like,
Anyways,
just
William.
like the one character, the whole show.
I really think that if they're gonna stick with just retelling the story, you can't have the characters having all of their end game abilities ready to go. So like,
Right.
Sakura's one of the best examples, unfortunately. So when it comes to changing an ability, she starts out with just basic combat skills, but then halfway through the series she'll learn medic, and then after the time skip she would be super strong.
Right.
Physically strong. So
But still has a basic fighting combination.
Yeah. I guess no, but I
Those
do
kunai
understand what you mean. Just kind of characters actually progressing and getting better rather than just you just know everything from the beginning.
Right.
yeah.
I guess my thing is I really don't just want a basic retelling. I want like something original and something new, something they've never really done too much of before. But if we had to just stick to the original, just it's going to sound super weird, but just be upfront with what you're doing. Just tell us it's a remake and maybe throw in some new stuff, but I don't know. I guess my problem with like a game like Pokemon Let's Go is it completely just felt like we don't have the games ready yet, so we're kind of going to give you basically red and blue, but touched up a good amount.
Right.
Like if it's going to be a retelling, like either change some things up about it so it feels fresher, or just come out and be like, it's the retelling. Please give us money.
Yeah, and I guess something we haven't really discussed is it is going to have to at least involve Boruto at some point because he is
Oh
part
dear
of
God,
it.
I forgot about that.
So
Does it have to though?
it's in the title based on what you told us. So there's, I did enjoy the, I guess, field trip arc to the Hidden Mist just because it actually had action and some tension in it, but.
Like, I feel like the main reason that they specifically say Naruto X Boruto is because Boruto, whether good or bad, I've kind of fell off with it. It's kind of a more relaxed approach. Like a lot of people say, it's kind of like a slice of life type show at times, and that's really hard to put into like a video game format. Where Naruto was a lot less passive about the way it would go about things. I'm not sure if it was a retelling how much of the Boruto story they would be doing. So that kind of concerns me.
As long as we can get Rock versus Metal, I'm fine.
The only thing I can think of is that, with the rumors that they may be ending Boruto before they actually get a chance to end the story, that maybe they're going to use this game to actually tell what they want to say is the final, like what happens.
I don't know. I hear Boruto in terms of sales is just a lot more popular than people say it is. So I don't know. It's so hard to tell with in terms of sales what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
Because like for example, and it's gonna sound like I'm rubbing it in, like a lot of people would say, well, Black Clover's not as good as a lot of people say it is. Meanwhile, you look at the sales, it's probably behind My Hero, the most popular anime out right now, or manga, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I can imagine because, I guess One Piece probably beats it out, and that's only because One Piece has been going on forever.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but in terms like My Hero, for example, if I'm wrong, has seasons that goes by. Like season 4 is about to come out, right? In a couple months, right?
Should be the end of this year.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Black Clover is just like, let's just crank out new episodes every single week. Hey, is this news to you? Are you just now knowing this?
No. It's because I read the manga, so I'm not as caught up with the show, the anime itself. Like I've decided to go back and rewatch the anime, but it's like I definitely I'm so much further ahead, and I'm just like, wait, no, they've already done. Oh wait, they're still third. That is still third season.
Yeah, sometimes I have to do that with Black Clover, or like I was talking to a friend about, it's just like, oh, so this character, I'm just like, oh, you think they're useless right now? What happened? I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe in terms of Boruto, maybe you're right in terms of they want to end it soon, so they might try to tell the story they've always wanted to tell. Who knows? Maybe that could work in a couple different ways. Maybe it could, one, give us a great game, and two, give people interest. Like, oh, we really like the Boruto story in the game. Let's get more of it in the manga or the anime. Maybe it could save the series if it needs saving. Maybe it's fine on its own. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, it's just, I think it's one of those rumors that's probably not going to happen, but you never know.
I don't know. Who knows? But I think we've got a good, great, somewhat terrible list of ideas. I think the ramen idea in particular is one they just need to shoot ramen out of the screens and give it to us.
Ah,
But I feel like we've gotten to a good place. So for the three people subscribed.
I think it's up to like 17.
Seven, yeah, that's a big think. I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys? Just anybody. What do you want? You don't even have to listen to this whole video to do it, which is sad since I'm saying it towards the end of the conversation. I could have said that at the beginning. Hey, but regardless, what do you think this game? Do you want it to be fighting like we kind of dismiss? Do you want it to be an open world kind of RPG with or without a created character? Do you want to just be a retelling? Just what would you want in terms of combat, everything? Do you hate our ideas? Do you really hate our ideas? Do you, for some reason, like our ideas? I don't know. But just let us know in the comments, snail mail, smoke screen, however you want to tell us. And and join us for our next video, which is what's our next Rich Williamson? What's our next video?
we have a next video coming out.
That's a good point.
You
I
guys
know.
got
We're
videos?
gonna tie Alex down and make him watch all of My Hero since he.
Bet.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah, we can.
I don't think you can. You don't know where I live.
Yes, we do.
We've moved.
Yeah, I kind of recognized that room. Did you take your room with you?
Yes, I'm in the I took my house to the Naruto world. I'm in the game as we speak.
Oh, great! It's got the Alex virus.
And you want to know the best part? When
What?
you guys come to the game, I'm gonna be your barber.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna burn your shop down.
So anyways, bad haircuts and all. This has been Foster.
And Williamson.
Jogger Joe.
I don't know if Jogger Joe has a channel of his own, but if he does, you should probably support it. If he has one, I don't know.
Of course,
I'll leave a link
haven't been
somewhere
very
in the video, depending on how this turns out. And this has been the Anime Egotist Biased Roundtable with Naruto x Boruto Shinobi Tribes. And this has been the Anime Egotist saying, if you disagree, you're wrong.